Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bakertron, and today we have something slightly different. I had a couple of games lined up, but then at the last second I realised that they were absolutely incredibly dull and boring and very short. So I just clicked on a completely random replay and decided to give it a cast. I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's already quite interesting for several reasons. One, it is a 2v2, and two, it's on it's on a map we haven't seen before. That looks really quite cool, and yeah, you can. This map also has, if you remember these, these sort of gas cloud things. They appeared in the single player, but I think this is the first time we've seen sort of these them as tubes like this. I'm not sure if they will. I believe in the single player you're meant to hide ships in them, but I don't think they'll do that in the multiplayer. Well, my memory is not entirely amazing on that point. You may have had to hide them in something else. I think it was the 4th mission, the one where you counter-attack against the Imperial fleet that destroyed destroyed Carrick. I'm going to stop talking about these now because at the moment I'm really not doing very well at it. Anyway, so 4 players. We have down in this corner, the yellow player is Do Not Attempt, and I think, well, he's yellow. Yes, so SirFoggy is his ally, and their opponents today we have here is Supa.hg, so Supa of the clan HG, and here we have Higaran. No, Imperial. I don't know why I said Higaran. This is Imperial. So anything could happen in this game, including it could cut off in the next 30 seconds. I have no idea. All players have started harvesting. These 2 players are either keeping all their built ships docked, or their strike craft docked, or just haven't built any. Whereas it looks like, I don't know what to call these teams. Okay, this is just going to have to be the red team, and this is just going to have to be the green team, because that's what they are on the strategic display and the map. So the red team do have a lot of craft out already. Lots of scouts, more scouts over here. I believe I saw some light corvettes. This is SirFoggy. Only has 1 research ship, which I believe everybody else has gone up to 2 so far. There's definitely 2 there, 2 there. Oh, and only 1 there. So both teams are going to have roughly equal research. In terms of harvesters, of course, there's 3 harvesters here. It's not a harvester. So 3 harvesters. Over here, I can see 2 there. 3 for SirFoggy. There's 1, 2, 3, and a controller for Do Not Attempt. And there was just docking them. This is Imperial. Has 3 out as well. So it's all fairly even. Although if this is all Imperial has built, then he's going to be quite badly outnumbered. He does have a spore figured out, but if we look at this rather scary force here, it's not going to count for much. Only a single light corvette there, but lots of scouts. And again, this is Supa, just like SirFoggy, hasn't gone from any craft, but does have the support frigate. This could of course be another, well, this could be, we might have to wait 10 minutes for the fighting to kick off. That's always a risk with these sort of games, but slowly and surely everybody's sort of creeping towards the centre of the map. So especially with these harvesters, And we can see why there's a huge amount of resources out. I think having 3 resource controllers is slightly overkill, although maybe it will help with just harvesting efficiency. It definitely looks like units are starting to get into shooting range. And there we go. You can see the first shots are being fired. And is this going to draw any sort of reaction from the red team? Yes, SirFoggy and do not attempt. No, in fact, Supa is going to be quite gallant and sort of withdraw his light corvettes slightly, you know, just to give the resource collectors the room they need to work in and make sure the fighting doesn't kick off too early. So thank you for that, Supa. That means I'm going to have to sit here and talk completely and utterly random words for a bit longer. Oh, and I thought it was kicking off again. They're kind of trying to snipe this collector here, but I don't think anything's going to happen for a while. So your sword frigates out now. That could, well, they're not going to be useful against the scouts, and actually the red team has sort of drawn their motherships together and got all their units sort of, well, close to each other, so they can effectively support each other. Meanwhile, these frigates are going to take quite a while to get all the way over to the fight here. Now, it looks like this resource controller was a little too greedy, but it appears to pay off. Is this some sort of pacifist game? Is there a no-rush agreement? I mean, those things do happen in other RTSs, they might happen here. Is this the start of an hour-long game? For the first 30 minutes of let's just harvest them up and don't shoot each other? I hope not. Because otherwise it's going to get very boring very quickly. No, it looks like this is definitely an aggressive move by Supa. And the scouts starting to engage each other. I don't really know what else to say. I've said things like that so many times. I'm running out of different ways to describe units that are shooting each other in the game. But it looks like everybody's withdrawing, or at least drawing themselves together. I know the Harvester, again, getting far too adventurous, far too close to the enemy. And it looks like Supa could be engaging both the enemies unsupported here. We've got this huge scout force here, this scout force here. Kamikazing attacks on Supa's scouts. Meanwhile, his ally struggling to reach him. Huge amounts of, well, I can't really describe, it's just chaos. There's scouts everywhere. This corvette force and this corvette force are managing to stay together, but otherwise scouts are just flying in all different directions. Can I get a decent view on one of them? There we go. I mean, ships are exploding. I hope you can hear my voice over the sound of the gunfire. It's quite a serene view, but it's hiding this fairly thick battle here. All sides are engaged, and the guy we just followed just died a horrible and painful death. Everybody's got their corvette wars now, fighting, I think. Actually, well, this corvette wall here of SirFoggy is quite broken up, not really in formation. But all the other corvette walls are in formation. We have one here, this one here, and I could have sworn I saw another one, and there's one there. But it looks like the green/yellow team have kept their corvette walls together far better. They're keeping them healed with far more support frigates, and they've got assault frigates in the area now as well. So I expect them to start clearing up the enemy corvettes. There's only actually a handful left here and here, but otherwise I think they're going to win the strikecraft wars, unless we can see some cool kamikazing scouts pretty soon. You see this corvette wall here. This is I believe this is Do Not Attempt is... I don't know whose this is. But you can see there's a heavy corvette. I'm going to say yes, yellow. It's Do Not Attempt. So there's still some corvettes out, heavy corvettes with them. Whereas there's only light corvettes and support frigates for Supa. One single support frigate for Do Not Attempt. I'm not sure where SirFoggy is. His trail is green, but he's got red lines of red engine trails. So he's got some units down here, but otherwise, well, pay close attention. I hope there's a way in the re-release to change units' colours in replays, because otherwise it's just going to be as confusing as it is now. We have units with different engine trails and different colours on this map, and oh dear. Anyway, so if we look at this, we can see the green and yellow team definitely clearing up there. Even more frigates out as well. Up to 3 assault frigates, 6 assault frigates, 4 Supa. So the red team appear to have just decided to pull back from that fight and have gone and joined the sort of skirmish up here. They may be trying to aim for these harvesters, or they may be just trying to get away from the assault frigates. It's difficult to tell. Let's see if we can get a slightly better look at this fight. Actually, are these heavy corvettes? It's really difficult to zoom in on one of the enemy ships. That looks like a heavy corvette to me. That is a heavy corvette. So yes, there are definitely heavy corvettes out for SirFoggy. And so it's probably a good move to get away from the assault frigates. And they may even be winning this fight up here. There's only a handful of scouts left. So can they push their advantage now and start hitting these resource collectors? Meanwhile, what is this force here doing? This force here is also going after the harvesters. It's going to do a lot better than their opponents are. It's a lot more firepower. But there's also support frigates with the harvesters. So who's going to kill each other's economy off first is going to be quite difficult to tell. One thing to note, of course, is that the green-yellow team's harvesters can't flee, whereas I think against frigates, I think it is possible for the resource collectors to get out of there, or at least to be the same speed. What we can see now, this is Do Not Attempt. No, it's green now. This is SirFoggy's. His plan is just to keep his harvesting operation alive as long as possible, and now actually the 2 resource collectors, controllers even, are paying off, since he's lost one, but he can still harvest with the other, and that's one that belongs to Do Not Attempt. So far the red team has taken a minor hit to their harvesting efficiency, whereas the green and yellow team, well, it's just only a matter of time before these harvesters start actually getting taken out, and that's really going to hurt them. So this fight is a lot easier to understand now. It appears to have a third fight starting to kick off down here. This is Imperial, whose frigate force is actually quite scary. 3 iron cannon frigates escorted by corvettes in sphere formation, and an assault frigate behind, doing a lot of damage against this is Do Not Attempt's frigate forces. There's also some support frigates back here, and reinforcements from Supa. In fact, there's lots of reinforcements from Supa coming in. In fact, he's pulled away from attacking these harvesters. His 4 support frigates now doing absolutely nothing, and his main frigate force, they seem to be coming up to try to sort of crush Do Not Attempt in a fairly scary flanking formation, flanking attack. Along with additional forces here, we may be able to save the harvesters. or just do something like that. Now the red and yellow team, no sorry, just the red team, they still have these strike-craft out, and the more that the yellow and green team rely on iron cannon frigates, well, the more damage those strike-craft can do, or at least, well, the more those strike-craft can dodge the iron cannon frigates. So they're still not out of it yet, but we've just got to see which targets they go for. There's still harvesting operations going on they could hit, of course. Harvesters here. Don't ask me to count the harvesters at the moment, it's just going to be impossible. But honestly, I think the red team, that's SirFoggy and Do Not Attempt, with these harvesting operations here, have a big advantage at the moment. If nothing else, they don't have to keep an eye on their harvesters. They could really do with pulling back the 4 support frigates, but at the moment, when there's 2 harvesters here for the yellow and green team, 2 harvesters here for the yellow and green team, another harvester for the red team, another harvester for the red team, so I think they're doing pretty good on the economy front. The question is, can they keep the this is Do Not Attempt's mothership alive? There really is only a handful of frigates here. These corvettes could sort of sweep in and try to save the day, but there's a lot of enemy ships. I don't know if they could kill off these frigates quick enough, or kill them off before the mothership goes down. Unless of course they bring back these 4 support frigates to repair the mothership, and they probably could. Otherwise it looks like things are sort of, well, these strike-craft are getting out of there quickly. I'm not quite sure what they're going for. Maybe they've just decided to give up or go on strike, or maybe they need to dock. Is fuel turned on? That's what we need to know. Is there any... Oh no! Do Not Attempt has died. They were pulling back to escape the explosion. 2 of them, or 2 of the green team ships didn't quite make it. So we don't know if fuel is turned on, but now, considering how damaged these ships are, this looks like the only opportunity SirFoggy has to do some damage. And we can't tell how badly damaged those ships are, unfortunately, so let's keep an eye on these frigates and see if we can spot any of them going down. Those heavy corvettes are the frigate killers here, but are they going to be able to do enough damage? Are there enough of them? There's an assault frigate back here that's kind of trying to get in the fight, and we can just see these corvettes dodging iron cannon beams quite effectively, but they don't appear to be doing a huge lot of damage. Destroyer out now for, I believe that's Imperial, and that's going to... it actually scores a couple of hits on these heavy corvettes here. It's taken out 2 of them so far, so apparently Destroyer's really good against heavy corvettes. Oh, go away. Every game something like that happens. Okay, I hope this is still going, and next game I'll try my best to make sure it doesn't happen again. Anyway, Destroyer's pretty good against heavy corvettes, so it's going to be down to these scouts to do some damage. Unfortunately, these support frigates are rapidly healing everything up, so it doesn't look like SirFoggy... oh, go away. It does not look like SirFoggy is going to be successful. If that comes up again, I'm not going to click out of it because it's just annoying. And I'm sure you guys are not interested in my desktop. Now, this is a huge capital ship force out, and SirFoggy has done well. He's been keeping frigates producing, but he could probably do switching just to having scouts and attack bombers. Really are his only hope now. And these frigates are still heavily damaged, but they're just not being focused down. And now there's so much healing that I don't think they are going to be focused down. What can these handful of frigates do against such firepower? Still, Foggy has for these 4 frigates out here, which he probably could do with. He's probably completely forgot about. If he had the money, he could hyperspace somewhere, since this force is going to be relatively slow. But apart from that, he's just got to hope that his strikecraft can do a lot of damage. To be fair, he's taken out the occasional ship. He just took out. Oh, he just managed to take out 2 support frigates there. So that wasn't that bad. But when your opponent has destroyers out, it's only a matter of time before missile destroyers come out, and that's just going to spell the end of SirFoggy. Switch off that view. He's still keeping assault frigates coming. It doesn't look like he's gone for iron cannon frigates. Mine laying corvettes actually would be pretty incredibly useful. I don't think salvage corvettes would work. I think there's too much firepower and they'd be focused down, unless of course those 4 support frigates and possibly other support frigates came along to help them out. But otherwise, I keep on wanting to write SirFoggy off. So, is it Foggy or Foggy? SirFoggy off. But he's just hanging in there. These frigates aren't dying, but neither is SirFoggy. Essentially, he's not being focused down. His mothership's still alive, it's still producing units, his economy is still alive. It's not being hurt at all. So he's hanging on there just barely, but he is still in the fight. He's just lost the harvester, but it's okay, he's got all the other ones. I don't know, can we see any harvesters for his opponent though? His opponents. Okay, there's 2 here. Oh, that's so... He could ram them with this. He could ram the enemy's resourcing operation, and that would dramatically hurt them, since I believe that's all the harvesters they have. I can't see any others on the map, and he still has this here. The question is, does he have sort of presence of mind to realise that? Does he have the control to pull it off? This is him fighting for his life. He's even recalled the 4 support frigates here. So he could swing this in his favour now with just a kamikaze attack on those harvesters, or even just send his strikecraft over there. Still building up. He's actually got quite a large corvette force now, actually. Oh! That's the end of the replay. And since it's done from SirFoggy's point of view, that must have been the point where he gave up and sort of quit the game. Oh, that's... Well... Oh, that's all my paperwork. Well, it was a good game while it lasted, despite random crashing to desktops. I actually enjoyed that. It's going to happen with some of these replays. Some of the ones I've checked out before, I've seen fantastic games that just end right before the big climatic battle. Nothing I can do. SirFoggy had a small chance, I think, but let's face it, it was going to take a miracle. So, congratulations to Supa and Imperial, commiserations to SirFoggy, and... what was the name of his ally? Don't try this, or something like that. Commiserations to him anyway. I apologise for the random switches to desktop. I hope you've enjoyed this nonetheless. If you have, please like, subscribe, share, etc. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.